In this lesson, we'll go ahead and continue on with the fireplace. Alright, so now we want to create some shelves up here. So the first thing that I want to do is take our object here, and I want to detach this pipe. So I'm going to go ahead and select all of those polygons there. Okay, and let's go down to Edit Geometry and detach that. And I'm going to turn off Detach as Clone, so just go, makes that a separate object, which you can select. And so now what we want to do is create some shelves that go, fit nicely inside here. So to do that, we can select these polygons up here. So I'm going to go ahead and drag across, and then I'll Alt drag across these, and that we'll just select these top polygons. And I'll go ahead and just detach these. So go down to Edit Geometry, Detach as Clone, and let's go ahead and grab those. Okay, we'll go ahead and Effect Pivot only, Center Pivot, and then I can drag that up. Make sure I'm selecting the right thing here. There we go. Alright, so now we've got the shelf, and you can see the hole is built right into it. The next thing we need to do is add some thickness to this. Okay, we also probably want to add some resolution in here, but we can do that in a minute. Let's go ahead and just add a shell to this. Okay, we can make this fairly short, and let's go ahead and add a couple of segments in here. Okay, make that kind of nice and tight. All right, and let's go ahead and before we do that, I'll turn off that shell modifier real quickly. Go ahead and select these edges. Select the loop, the ring, and go ahead and let's just add a under Edit Edges here. Find it. Add an edge right to the outside there, so all the way out to the end. So okay to that, and then we can turn our shell back on, and that geometry is out there, so that when we go ahead and smooth that if we want to, it'll look nice. So we'll go ahead and collapse that. Yes. Convert to editable poly. Alright, you can see if we smooth that, what that's going to look like. Let's go ahead and drag this up to the top. So maybe we want a shelf right up here at the top. Okay, and if it's a little bit too thin, you can always scale that up just a little bit. And then we'll hold down Shift, and we'll just drag a copy down here. Say OK to that. And let's go ahead and add a couple of shelves in here. So I'll drag that up, and then I'll drag another one down here. And we'll just kind of space these out a little bit evenly. And you can see that you can make these glass if you want. It has a nice hole that is created for the pipe to go through. Now for the bottom, we don't necessarily want the hole, but so we can do the same thing down here. I'm going to go ahead and isolate this, hitting Alt-Q. I'm going to go ahead and select the polygons on the bottom. Okay, I'll Alt-select these polygons. And we can do the same thing here. If I go ahead and hold down Shift and go ahead and do that, hold down Shift and pull this down, I can also clone, and I can clone it to a new object. Say okay, so that's another way of getting those polygons out of there. Okay, and this again, I can go ahead and select those edges, select the ring, under Edit Edges, Connect, drag that out to the end. Then we'll go ahead and add a shell modifier to add some thickness. Okay, and we've got, let's go 2 segments here. And then we'll go ahead and collapse that. And convert that to an editable poly. We smooth it if we want to. Go ahead and exit isolation mode. Zoom to that. And now we've got another shelf down here. We can go ahead and center that pivot. We've got a kind of another shelf right below here. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and add kind of a large grounding kind of piece down here that could also be glass, or it can be actually whatever you want. I'm going to just make that a straight cylinder. Okay, rather than this shape. I'm going to go ahead and start and just drag that out, something like that. Pull up the height. And then we can go ahead and play with the settings in here. I'm going to actually make this a bit bigger. something a little bit more like that. Okay, and I can play with the parameters in here. So we change the height a bit. Okay, we give the height segments down to 3. Okay, maybe up the number of sides. If we're going to be smoothing it, actually, it doesn't matter that much. Okay, and let's on our cap segments make those 3, and then we can actually just use that geometry to create our geometry that we want to have for this to be smooth. Okay, so instead of adding using connect to add extra edges, we've already got all those edges in here. All we have to do is go ahead and convert that to an editable poly and just select some edges. So we'll select this ring on this loop right here. Go ahead and select that loop. We can scale that out right out to the edge there. We can select both of these loops. Okay, and let's convert that to a vertex selection, and then we'll scale that out from each other. And then we can do the same thing down here that we did on the top. Select that loop, scale that out, and now when we go in and smooth this, you'll get a better result. Give that a couple of iterations there. Okay, and just kind of a base down there for the bottom. And this will be the only piece that we create separately. You could use this piece as well if you wanted to, and just kind of scale this out if you wanted to use this shelf. Okay, if you wanted to use the shelf, you could just scale it out until it's a cylinder and move that down as well. So you could still use that part of the object there. Okay, so in the next lesson, I think what we want to do is go ahead and work on the door of the actual fireplace. So this is where the actual, put the wood, or if it's gas, whatever, you're going to have a door here that's going to have this glass in it, and put a little bit of detail here on the actual main body of the fireplace. So we'll go ahead and continue on and finish up the fireplace in the next lesson.